So we recently added the Spider-Man apartments and deli by Brick Artisan to the raised area in the Lego City, and it's time to add another building to that raised area, and I'm going to be keeping it Marvel themed by adding a Nelson and Murdock Attorneys of Law building next to that Spider-Man deli. So Foggy Nelson and Matt Murdock are characters from the Disney Plus show Daredevil. In that show, they are attorneys and they have the Nelson and Murdock Attorneys of Law office, and that's what we will be building today. So this is the size of the footprint that we're working with. I know it's small, but it's the same depth as a Spider-Man deli, so this is what we've got to work with. This is the building in question. Nelson and Murdock's Attorneys of Law is accessed through this door right here. The door on the building looks to be a metal cage door with another door behind it, and that's what I've built here. Both of the doors open up easy for access, so let's place it on the base and see how it looks. Either side of the door are these dark red pillars that I've tried to recreate here. Using some bricks with studs on the sides, I've added these 1x2 dark red grills and placing them either side of that metal cage door. I built up the rest of the walls using some light bluish grey bricks and even added a stairway leading up to the next floor. The small entrance is tiled and I've even added a mailbox to the wall. The building next door to Nelson and Murdock's is a hardware store, but I've also seen pictures with a shutter down, so I'm going to draw inspiration from that and make my building a storage unit. So in there I'm going to just put some junk that you'd find in a storage unit and then have a shutter on the front of that building. I've gone ahead and added junk to this storage unit. In there is a shelving unit that I've filled with some unwanted items like a motorbike helmet, some old high school trophies and some aerosol cans. Then at the back of the storage unit I've got some barrels that are filled with some tools like some rowing oars, a pitchfork and even a net. I even went ahead and tiled the floor and it doesn't look too bad. This is my makeshift shutter that I made for the front of that storage unit. Let's get it in place now and see how it looks. I think that works really well. This front of the building is looking really good. I've built up the rest of the walls on this first floor and it is now done. I added some extra details like the light above the door and the air conditioning unit, and I also added a 2x3 tile onto the wall to act as the Nelson and Murdock sign for the building. But I think we can do a little bit better with this. So I looked up to see if anyone did a printed Nelson and Murdock Attorneys at Law sign, and they did. It was relatively cheap. It was about £3 for the tile, but it would have cost maybe nearly £10 if I'd got the shipping as well. So I went ahead and printed my own using adhesive paper and cut it out myself, and I think it looks okay. It's definitely going to do the job it needs to do for this building. So now with that sign, our first floor of Nelson and Murdock's is complete, and I've got it next to the Spider-Man deli for a bit of a side-by-side comparison, and I think that it goes together really well. It's going to look very good up on that raised area, but now we need to move on to the next floor. Looking at pictures of the Nelson and Murdock building, I would say the best colour for the top two floors would be dark red, but I don't have enough dark red bricks to be able to create two whole floors, so I'm going to switch it out for a dark tan. And I've made a start on that front fascia of the first floor. I've gone for the dark tan masonry bricks to give it that nice brickwork effect, similar to what I've got down here with the medium nugget. And I've also got the same window scheme as what's on the apartments of the Spider-Man deli. So that is a nice link there. The real Nelson and Murdock building on the upper levels has this escape hatch on the outside of the building. So I've kept that as well. And that will be continued on to the next floor too. So that will look really good. Now on the interior, it's going to be a bit of a tight squeeze because I need to get 2 desks in here. One for each of the characters. And as well, I'm having trouble getting the staircase up to the next floor. As you can see here, I've gone with a staircase piece because I've ran out of 2x4 light bluish grey bricks. And so I've placed that ladder piece in and it's covering the entrance slightly from the stairway of the first floor. But I think that's going to be okay. You know, we don't have to have too much detail in here. But I do need to get those 2 desks, like I said. So that's what I'm going to try and do, as well as build up the rest of the floors. And it shouldn't be too long before this floor is done. And then I'll just need to duplicate it, recreate it for the next level. These are the two desks that I made for the interior. It's going to be pretty tight in there, but I think it could work. Let's get them in there, as well as tiling the floor and see how that looks. So the desks are in, it's all tiled. I've also added a little filing cabinet under stairs with a hot dog on, and it looks really good. The desks have had to go back to back, but it works really well for the space that's in there. I'm really pleased with that. Now what we need to do is build up the rest of the walls, and this floor should be ready to go. We just need to duplicate it after that, like I said before. That floor is finished and added to the bottom layer of the mock. I just added a couple of more things inside after building up the walls. There's a clock on the wall and also a certificate of achievement to prove that they have actually become attorneys of law. Just another little size comparison to the apartments and delis, and it's not looking too bad. I really like it. Like I said, I've got to make another floor and the roof, and we will be all done and ready to go into the Lego City, which is the exciting part. See how that looks. And our next floor of the building is complete, and I've also added interior in this one, which is unlike me because I usually leave these buildings empty, but in here there's a small kitchenette and also a small table as well, and there's a little room on the corner that I could put a small restroom in if I wanted to. I haven't at the minute, but there is that option there, and it looks pretty good. I really like that. It's tiled floor as well, and there's also a ladder that goes up to the roof. It's going to have roof access on that, and that looks really good. So should we see how it looks on the rest of the building? I think so. And here is the building in question. Let's push that on, and there we go. Look at that. That is coming together very nicely indeed. So just the roof to go, but let's have a little look at how it looks next to the Spider-Man deli. There is the two of them next to each other, and they're looking really good and matching really well. I actually went back to the original building and added one more row of bricks to that floor so that they line up a bit better. I think there's a plate difference, which isn't too bad. I can try and make that up in the roof, or if just leave it at that size. So there is a slight difference, but that should be fine. But that looks really good. I'm liking that. Like I say, just a roof to go, and then we should be done, and it should be ready to put into the Lego City, which I'm really excited to see how that looks. So the roof is finished and in place on the building. It's nothing too fancy, just got a couple of details on the front fascia here with the inverted slopes, some profile bricks, 1x1 round bricks, and a 1x8 rail plate here, and it looks alright. We've got the access to the roof there, where that ladder was on the previous floor. Just got a door opening up to that. But yeah, it's on, and the building is now all finished and complete. And I'm really pleased with how it has turned out. Really looks good, and I'm excited. I've already placed the Spider-Man deli back into the Lego City, but let's get this one in there too and see how it looks. There we go, the building is in place on that raised area, and it looks really good. I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. Fits in with the Spider-Man deli really well, and it's just filling that area really nicely, blocking off that wall, which is what I wanted. That was the main purpose of this whole area, and it's good that we're getting some custom buildings into the Lego City too. That's really good. But it is missing one thing, which I'm going to add now. You know, I'm not really a big fan of having superheroes roaming around in my Lego City, but this one definitely needs the Daredevil perched on the top of that building, overlooking the Lego City, and there he is. Very, very good. He'll keep this part of Hell's Kitchen safe. So there is the building, all complete and in the Lego City. I'd love to know your thoughts on the new addition to the Lego City, the Nelson and Murdock Attorneys at Law mock, and also, do you have any ideas on any other Marvel buildings I could have along this row? I think it's a good continued theme now to have Marvel buildings up along that back area, and also it's kind of like a Marvel area. We've got the Sanctum Sanctorum, the Daily Bugle, and now Spider-Man and Daredevil as well. But yeah, if you have any more suggestions of some Marvel buildings that I could place along this row, obscure ones as well. I'm not talking Oscorp or the Fantastic Four building. Just some small buildings that we can have in this area. That would be really good. So if you've got any suggestions, pop them in the comments below. As always, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe as well. Thank you very much for watching and take care.